Hello everyone, I'm Brandy with Brush by Brandy. Are we on?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, never know if I'm just talking to myself.
And go.
I'm Brandy with Brush by Brandy. I'm a Dixie Belle Paint brand ambassador. And tonight we're going to be working on this piece that we started last week. This is a piece we're working on from start to finish. So last week we did the preparation on this piece to show you how we got it ready for paint. And that process included, we did a little sanding on the top only because it was so damaged it was beyond saving. And I've got that covered in a towel right now. And then we added some Dixie Belle Boss, which is a stain blocking primer, to the body of it. And now we're nice and clean and ready to paint. So tonight we're going to be adding the color to this piece. We're going to be adding some paper for decoupage to this piece. You guys, my husband is here. Come on and let me know if you have any questions and he'll help us answer those.
Hey, Gary. He said, hey, Brushed and Sean.
Yeah. Brushed. That's a joke, you guys. We had a great time at the Dixie Belle conference with Gary. I lost my train of thought. We're also going to be giving away some Dixie Belle paint tonight. So if you guys get on and like this post, share it if you would, and then follow my page at Brushed by Brandy. And then at the end of the broadcast, we're going to be giving away an 8 ounce of Dixie Belle paint in your choice of colors. So this is the piece that we've been working on. And I put up a poll on my page, on my my business page at Brushed by Brandy. And the poll asked you guys, it gave you a few options for paper patterns and for colors to put on this piece. And one of them won out like 2 to 1 over the other. And so I couldn't ignore that was unanimously popular, but it wasn't the one I wanted you guys to pick. So what I did, you guys may have noticed, is I did one in the pattern that went out on my page as well. So this was the pattern that you guys chose. And then I'm going to do this in the pattern that I chose. And that way we both win. Everybody gets what they want, right? I'm a people pleaser. What can I say?
I just want to say hi to Lynn and Sheila.
Hi,
okay,
Lynn.
carry on.
Hi, Sheila.
No, not you. Me. I'm just saying hi.
Oh, sorry. I know Lynn and Sheila. We go way back. But now I think it's funny because now Sean's starting to recognize names on here too. So what I wanted to kind of explain was when I wanted to do this plaid pattern on here, someone explained it in a comment on my page really well. I see this piece as being a little more masculine. It doesn't have any moldings or appliques on it or anything that makes it curvy or feminine looking. Whereas the piece that I did in the floral pattern has, you know, the fluted legs on it. It's got a curved drawer. It just looked a little bit more feminine. It's got the carved legs on it. This one is just a little bit more squared off and more masculine. So I saw it in this plaid.
Now, there was a question posed earlier.
Yeah.
Is there a live or was there a video on that piece?
On that one, no. But we're going to do exactly the same steps that I did on that one, only I'm using a different combination of color and paper. So you can take these techniques that I'm going to do tonight and you can apply them to any paper and any color that you wanted to do. So that's kind of what we're going to do tonight. But that's a finished example in a different paper in a different color, but same techniques.
Oh, Sheila says that you have some pink in your hair and I have to zoom in.
Oh.
People are picking up on the fact that you did something different in your hair. That's for you, Sheila. All right, carry on.
So wait, before we go any further, I do want to point this out right here, and I want to let you guys know that this is not from any inappropriate behavior. I literally burned my neck with a curling iron.
It's really hard to even see, so
okay.
you're just wanting to draw attention to it.
I'm just expecting somebody will say something about it eventually, and I just want to clear it up front that I burned my neck with a curling iron. Really badly. I've been telling you guys for a while that I have to do this hair thing, so I've been playing with my hair lately. Really quick, I wanted to show you guys something that happened to me, and I'm usually really good about this, but I found a brush in my workspace today that I had left out here, and it had gotten encrusted with paint. It was the evergreen paint that I used on this, Dixie Belle Evergreen, and it had been out here for at least 3 days, because that was the last time I painted an evergreen, and I found it, and I was like, oh, I mean, I never leave my brushes out. It was hard as a rock. So what I did is I just took a dish and I let my brush sit, just the tips, not up to the metal, I let my brush sit in some Dixie Belle White Lightning cleaner. So this brush has been sitting in White Lightning for about an hour and a half now, and it's back. So I'm thrilled because I thought I destroyed a brush. But Dixie Belle White Lightning, not only a great cleaner, it will save your brushes that you forget out in your workspace and are encrusted with paint.
Barbara wants to know if I put the tractor away. No, I actually didn't. I was replacing some hydraulic lines on it, so.
That was an accident, though. But how cute was it? No, we've been using our tractor to put together a burn pile, and it was sitting out in our driveway, and I caught it in my window. And I was like, oh, with my farmhouse sign, it's so cute. So I left my tractor in the photo. So that was the White Lightning. We used glass. All right, let's get started on this. So the look that I envision for this is going to be this plaid paper. It's a black and a green plaid. Just very masculine feeling. I kind of see it as like, you know, an old library sitting in your smoking jacket with a cigar kind of look. Like,
who does that?
I know. I have to give everything a theme. The last one was like grungy, rusty, you know, old vintage 70s desk feeling, and this is going to be like, you know, Hugh Hefner smoking jacket kind of look. That's what I'm going for.
Well then.
I know. That's what I see in my head. It's a whole vision, a whole theme we're going to go with.
It's a whole storyboard.
So when we took the hardware off on this piece last week, not my razor blade, I soaked this hardware overnight in a combination of white vinegar and water. Just let them sit in there. And then I just scrubbed it with a little wire brush, and this is how they cleaned up. So these are clean now, but they're not the right color. I don't like this combination. So the color of hardware I actually want is going to be a copper. So that just doesn't stand out enough to me. So I'm going to go with a copper. And I really like this combination. So I'm going to show you what I did to get to this copper. And we're going to actually add some waxes and stuff later. But right now, I need to show you how I'm getting my hardware to the copper color.
So quickly, just a couple things. One, the kind of paper.
Oh, this paper that we're going to use tonight is a gift wrap paper. This paper is, it's just a gift wrap. I got it at Target. It's the Hearth and Hand line, so it's not like the cheap $2 birthday gift wrap. It's a fairly good quality gift wrap. I wouldn't do this with like, you know, dollar store gift wrap. That's not what you want to be using. I prefer to spend the money and get higher quality papers. So this is it's a Target gift wrap that I'm going to be using. The one that I used over here on this piece was a gift wrap also. This was just ordered online from spoonflower.com, which has thousands of decorative paper options. Beautiful options. I mean, beware, it's a rabbit hole. You will be on their website for hours.
And then just another piece from this side of the camera. So we're trying something a little different. We've added stuff for our signal. So hopefully everything is okay on your guys' end. It's an arduous process. Let's just put it that way.
I've been telling you guys that I'm hearing your comments, and I'm seeing the comments on Facebook and on YouTube about the video quality, and we're trying stuff every week. So we're trying, you know, my husband's phone, we put in a Wi-Fi extender. So we're trying different things to try to improve that video quality, but no, that's something we are working on to figure out what works. So your feedback is really helpful. Thank you. So I'm going to spray paint my hardware, and if you have to spray paint your hardware, this is Valspar paint. It's called Radiant Metals. It is the best metallic spray paint I have used, and I've used, you know, Rust-Oleum, and I mean, you name it, I've used it. This is the best. It's at Target. It is excellent. It is very rich metallic colors. This is their copper, and it's a nice matte finish, but it says lustrous metal finish, and they are lustrous. Their gold is the most beautiful gold metallic spray paint I've used. So, they're not paying me for that. I have no affiliate link to it. I just like the spray paint. That's it. I'm going to take this good, and then I'm going to take this hardware. I just laid out the ones we haven't done. I have some that I have done, and I'm just going to spray paint them. I'm just doing this so I can set this off to the side. So what I do is usually I will lay it on the cardboard, and I'll give it a coat with the handle down, and then once it's dry, I will flip the handle the other direction, and I will coat it again so I have coverage all over my piece of hardware. So I'm going to shove these aside, let these dry. They will get another coat. And then we're going to add some decorative finishes to them next week to take it from that, you know, just plain solid color piece of hardware to give it a little more detail that looks authentic. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding some paint to my piece. So I've got out my Dixie Belle brushes. I've talked about the Dixie Belle brushes before, but I can't say enough about them. My two favorites of the Dixie Belle brushes are the mini and the oval medium. And you guys will see why tonight. I'm going to use both of these, but I like the mini for laying on paint, and I like the oval for blending it out. So the two colors we're going to use are Dixie Belle Caviar and Palmetto.
So really quick,
yes.
Lori had a question. You can actually wax over spray paint?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I wax my hardware all the time. You can use gilding waxes on it. You can use paint on it. You might use paint on it. You can use your chalk paints on it. There's any combination you can do on your hardware.
Oh boy.
Okay.
So we have a question.
Uh-oh.
Where did you get the seat that you're rolling around on?
Oh my Come on, guys. So my seat is a mechanic's stool.
So here's what I'm going to do. My
husband's sitting on the good one. I have two mechanic stools. One is an actual properly assembled working mechanic stool, and this is what it should look like. This one broke, and so we took the post out of the mechanic stool, and I set the cushion right on top of the base. So it's just a broken mechanic stool.
Oh yeah.
But I get more questions about it than anything I use. So that's the story of my seat. My knees bother me, and so it saves me from having to get up and down. I'm going to take the drawers out on this piece, and the reason is because we're going to be papering the front of the drawers. I'm not painting them. I'm off to one side, and these long drawers.
Such finesse.
Can you see it sideways?
Yeah. Here, push the other side in. So effortless.
Yeah. You just don't want to know what I do to furniture. Hey, I'm refinishing, right? So what can I do to hurt it? Get this one last roll out. So these have Dixie Belle Boss on them, and you'll notice when you put the Boss on, Dixie Belle Boss in clear creates this very matte finish. It's not glossy at all. So that's kind of how you can tell that they've got coverage on them, is they've just got this very matte finish on them. So we're not going to paint the drawers. I'm going to put paper on those, but we are going to paint the body of this piece. So we'll start on the side over here. I cover my bare wood top. We're going to be staining this with some Voodoo gel stain. But I cover my top because once the wood is sanded down and bare, it's susceptible to oils from your fingers. Anything that you spill into it, you can stain this wood really easily. So I keep my wood top nice and covered. So our body has 2 coats of Dixie Belle Boss in clear. And I'm just going to take a really fine grade sanding pad, and I'm just going to knock down any bumps. I don't want to break through the seal of that Boss, so I'm just trying to get it nice and smooth. But once you sand it, you're exposing the wood underneath, and then the stain blocking part of the Boss has been voided. So I'm not trying to break through it. I just want to get it to a nice smooth finish. Very simple, just a little brushing. And then with my rag, here it is.
So quick questions. Rollers on the piece itself.
Oh yeah. These are little 3-wheel dollies, 3-wheel furniture dollies, and I have these in my Amazon shop. I can add a link to the post after we get off.
And then as far as like the spray paint and what you've used up to this point?
The spray paint was from Target. The cleaner that we used was Dixie Belle White Lightning Cleaner, and then we used Dixie Belle Boss, which is a stain blocking primer, and that's in clear. I chose the clear because I don't want it to show through when we distress this piece. So like I said, the colors we're going to use on this piece are going to be Dixie Belle Caviar, which is a true black, And we're going to accent it with just a little bit of Dixie Belle Palmetto, which is a, I don't know, an emerald green color. If your lids get stuck, tap them on the floor and they come right open. I usually don't have to tap more than one time. So my main body color is going to be this black, and I'm just going to start laying this on. This will take 2 coats. You guys are going to see me put on the first coat tonight. So I just try to, I mean, you can see already, this is a, you know, a black over a dark wood, and it's fantastic coverage. I just usually do 2 coats to make sure I'm getting all my coverage and my color stays nice and true. This is the Dixie Belle Mini, and it's my favorite brush for laying on paint. So I have a nice wide stripe that I can lay on. It holds just the right amount of paint. It just lays the paint on really smooth.
So not to break your stride, but if you're using a black paint, why did you boss the piece ahead of time?
So a couple things. Dark colors can still have bleed through. So just because it's black doesn't mean that the wood tannins can't bleed through from underneath. And it can distort a black. It can turn it into, you know, yellowy. So just because it's a dark color doesn't mean that the wood tannins won't distort it. So that's my main reason. Even though when we first started this, I also didn't know for sure what colors of paint and what paper I was going to be putting on this piece. Like I said, I put that poll up on my page. But I would have put a stain blocking primer on this no matter what, because you can still distort a dark color, and I don't want that. I want my color to stay nice and true. So I just laid on a single coat of caviar, and then what I usually do once I've got my paint all laid on is I will come back and just lightly, with a very light hand, I'm just cleaning up the brush strokes so that they're all in the same direction, they're all going straight. Very nice clean brush strokes. And I've got beautiful coverage there. Now I'm going to come get these sides right here. I don't want to mess up the part I just painted. I'm going to go sideways a little bit, and then I'll come back and clean up these brush strokes too.
So how do you know as far as bleed through, what pieces are going to bleed?
Oh man. We talked about this more in depth in our video from last week on this same exact piece. But this piece is made of mahogany. Now I'm no expert on wood finishes. So one of the ways I told you guys to tell, anytime you see a piece with this style of hardware, there will be a bleeder. I've never seen one that wasn't. So when I look at this wood, it's got that deep red tones. So usually the woods with the red tones in them will tend to be bleeders, but that's not the only kind. Anything with knots in it can be a bleeder. Wood knots like pine. Oak can bleed. So, you know, I would always err on the side of caution and use a primer, especially if you're doing whites. With whites, that primer will save you a coat of paint. I'm down here doing these little legs.
What's that brush you're using, by the way?
This is the Dixie Belle Mini. This is my absolute favorite brush. It's my go-to. I've got, you know, 1,000 of them out here. This is what I use the most. So this is the Dixie Belle Mini. If I had to choose 2 of the Dixie Belle brushes, it would be the Mini and the Oval Medium are my favorites.
So Lisa has a question. How come every time she paints with caviar and she goes to touch it, you can see the white fingerprints?
You will, but you know what? When you put that top coat on it, it will, you know, when I go to sand this, I'll give a brush sanding before I put a clear coat on it, and all that disappears with your clear coat. It's going to look scary, and then once you put your clear coat on, it cleans it right up. So we're also going to put clear coat on a dark color together. Not this week. This won't be ready to clear coat until next week. But you guys will see me clear coat a dark color, and I'll give you all the tips on that next Thursday. We should be to that point. So I've got my paint nice and laid on. Now, I want to add a little bit of palmetto just around these edges here. You know what? I forgot my misting. I'll grab it.
Please hold.
Sorry. I thought of everything, but I did not. So I'm going to take and blend in just a really small amount of palmetto just to pick up that little bit of green in the paper. So this is my Dixie Belle flat, small brush. It's just a small, flat tip, and I'm choosing this. You'll see why, because I really just want, I'm going to take it and I'm going to outline. I'm just going to add it into the crevices. And then I will blend this color in. So just a very small amount. It's going to be a really subtle
Can I say something and not to spook you?
Uh-oh, no.
You have over 400 viewers.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's been dropped in there a couple of times.
I'm done. I'm done.
We're out.
Yeah, Brandy out.
Mic drop, we walk away.
Yeah. Gets over 300 and I'm going into panic mode.
So Karen wants to know if it's warm here because you're in shorts.
It's beautiful here. It's beautiful here. So I'm in California, you guys.
Well, it's not warm. The weather's decent. It's tolerable. The sun's out. Hey.
So what I'm doing now, I want to keep my paint wet. It's starting to set up a little bit, so I'm going to keep my paint wet just along where I want to move this paint around. And I'm going to take my Dixie Belle oval medium brush and a rag, because I want to keep this brush clean and dry. So this is a total clean, dry brush. And where I just added that bit of palmetto, I'm just going to soften out the transition. Now this is just my base coat. So my base coat is always just where I'm laying my colors out, getting my basic color scheme decided. And my second coat is where I will perfect this blend. So right now I'm just kind of blending it in, getting it to, can you guys see that?
Well, I think it's starting to get blurry only because the sheen come out
the sheen of the paint.
The paint.
Yeah, and they're both really dark colors, so it can be hard to see. I'm going to add a little bit more to that side because this one's got more paint on it. But again, this is just, I'm just laying my colors on tonight. This is going to take 2 coats of paint. So then I take my clean, dry brush, and I'm just brushing over that transition, and it just softens the transition a little bit from the caviar into that palmetto. Now these are nice dark colors. They're close in tone and shade, so they're fairly easy to blend. The closer in tone that your colors are, the easier they'll be to blend together. Versus if I was doing like a white to a black, that's going to be a hard transition to do. So this is not perfect, you guys.
Let's try.
But because I'm going to be doing a second coat, if I get any up here onto my wood, I can just take a little bit of sandpaper and brush that off before I add my stain on it. But I like this color layout. Oh, I got a little bit of black right here.
Here, hold on. About to throw the hand in there. Hopefully that helps.
So I'm going to let this dry, and I will come back and I will do a second coat exactly like that first coat I just did, with that little bit of green around the outside edge. I mean, just, it's very subtle, but it looks really pretty. The 2 colors together are gorgeous. So now I'm going to turn this and we'll do the front, and then I'll do that again on the other side so you guys can see it again.
What colors were you using again?
So this is Dixie Belle Caviar, and then the green stripe that I added was Dixie Belle Palmetto. So I'm going to come in here. I'm not going to do any green on the front. This is just going to be pure black. Because we're going to get the green on the front. It's going to come out when we add the paper to the drawers. I will be papering a drawer. You guys will see me do that in just a few minutes. But right now I'm going to get this base coat on.
Thank you, everyone. So just as far as the clarity, but I think it's because you have, and somebody mentioned it earlier, as far as when you start detailing, it starts to get blurry.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to turn this so you guys can see, because I get a lot of questions about if I paint the edges of my drawers. I always paint this edge right here. So I find a nice point that makes sense for me to stop my paint line.
Stacy says, your wife is the most talented furniture painter in the world. It's just her opinion. I would concur.
Thank you, Stacy. I don't know. That makes me feel really good. Thank you. I don't know what to do with that. It makes me want to blush, but thank you.
Chris said, picture's perfect. Don't move. So I'm just going to sit right here.
Okay, don't move.
You do all the work, okay? I'm just going to sit here.
So I'm just laying on my base coat, and now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to coat this inside edge too. Because I don't want, when my drawers are shut, I don't want to see any of this wood peeking through. And giving this a coat is a nice, it'll be a nice finishing point. So I always do this. Even when you guys see me paint with my drawers in on my piece, I do come back and I take them out, and I will always cut into these inside edges so that you don't see any wood when my drawers are closed. And then I also want, you know, if my customer needs to take a drawer out, I don't want them seeing the inside as, you know, unfinished or, you know, being sloppy or anything. So I even pay attention to, is my paint nice and clean on the inside of my piece too. So that's a nice finishing point there. I'm going to go up the side of the dresser over here. And I'm hitting it with like a sideways brush stroke. I'm still using my Dixie Belle Mini. And then I can come back and I can change those brush strokes to up and down. I'm not going to get this here because there's a lip on the drawer that covers these edges here. So those won't be exposed at all. So I'm going to leave those alone.
My hand is magical because it fixes the camera right away. Never mind that they're dirty from all the hydraulic fluid.
And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to, with a really steady hand, I'm just going to cut in under this wood lip. I don't want to get it onto the wood itself, so I'm just going to go at it a little bit slower.
So random, but when are you going to start making t-shirts?
Oh, I'm not going to start making t-shirts, but you guys will recognize this t-shirt I have on. Does this logo look familiar? Bella Renovare? That's Kristana's shirt. At this point, she's really just providing my entire wardrobe. Everything I wear at this point is just from Kristana. No, she had these beautiful shirts made. You guys can order them from her too.
So Christy wants to know, when you paint the drawer sides like that, will the drawer stick?
They can if your drawer, that's something to pay attention to. If your drawer, how do I explain this? These are cut in a little bit on the sides. Do you see how the face of the
they
drawer,
almost bevel in.
Yeah, it goes in on the side right here.
Yeah,
so I don't have a super snug fit to the body. But if you do have a snug fit to the body, you may need to shave down the frame of your piece. And what I'll do is I'll just sand it a little bit. I mean, you can take down a tiny millimeter and it will keep your drawers from rubbing. So for this piece here, I know it's got this bevel here, so I don't have a tight drawer fit.
Gary wants to know if I shake my hand when the kids get unruly. I do.
If they're lucky. I'm going to turn this a little bit so I have better access, and I'm going to finish putting this black on. This is just going to be solid black. 2 coats I'm going to do. I'll probably do the second one when you guys aren't watching, just so I can finish it up. This is just a base coat. It's therapeutic to watch, though.
If it is.
Yeah. That just me making myself feel better. So I'm going to go back, and I don't want any stopping points, so I'm going to smooth this out all the way across the front. And then I'll come in here and do under this edge, too. And then we'll all move around, and we'll go work on that other side and put some green in with it. And then we will paper a drawer together.
Yes.
Try to calm yourselves. I know the excitement is too much. You know, I could go on forever in these videos, and I'm actually really eager to finish this piece. It's been killing me to sit and look at it, because I mean, I have this vision in my head for it, and I want to finish it up. But I want to do it with you guys, too. I'm going to flip my towel up right there, and finish cutting in under here. This is Dixie Belle Caviar, you guys. It's their, Caviar is their true black. And it is a nice true black. Some blacks can have blue undertones, but Caviar is a really nice true black. With 2 coats, it gives you a really nice pure color. So I'm getting the inside edges of my piece. I'm going to come around to the other side because this is getting kind of awkward for me. Move my fiber out of the way. I'm rolling up the apron. I'm using the tips of my brush to get into this fluting detail right here. Make sure I get coverage inside all the fluting.
And when you do a second coat, will you paint the black over the green blending? Or only paint the second coat in the middle?
No, I'll just go back with the green on top. In fact, I could have done that on my first coat too. It probably would have made it easier because I do want that to stay true green. So I'll do it differently on this side so you guys see what I'm talking about. We'll leave that part with the bare wood and then I'll come back with the green. That would probably be my preference. That's probably what I should have done on both sides. Sorry if you guys are seeing the back of my head. At least I did my hair today, right? Okay, and I'm going to turn this, so we will come back and do this side. And this is where I'm going to add that green, but I'm still going to do my black first. This has not been sanded. I'm going to take my sanding sponge. Single pass.
Now, why do you do that?
I can touch it with my hand and I can feel the difference. I can feel the box is a very matte, very dry matte finish, and you know it can get specks of dust and stuff stuck in it, and this just smooths it out. I do this in between every coat of paint, every coat of clear coat. Just that little brush with the sanding sponge takes down any little nubs in your paint.
So I'm going to pan away for a second because the question is, however do you keep from getting paint all over your floors?
I do not.
So let's go ahead and take a look at the floors here. Oh,
we do not
that's
offer
so
that
weird.
service here at Brush by Brandy.
Huh. Apparently the cleaner missed a couple of spots.
You guys, this is my garage workspace. I'm not in my house or anything. And when we built this house this year, and we intended this to be my workspace. So we laid this flooring. It was very inexpensive flooring. It's very utilitarian. It's a vinyl plank from Costco. It was about $1 a foot. And the furniture rolls smoothly on it. If I want to clean this paint up, I've tried it, and the paint actually cleans up really easily from it. But it was intended to get paint on it. I'm actually trying to save the concrete floor underneath more than I'm trying to save this flooring.
Now, when you come back and do a second coat, do you second coat the inside of the drawers as well?
You know what? You don't need to. If your coverage is good enough, no, you don't need to. Really, I'm just trying to keep that from showing the wood underneath, but I got pretty good coverage with this caviar paint to where I think one coat and it will be fine.
And then when after your final coat dries, do you come back and sand it?
Yes. So I will do, I don't even like to call it sanding. I hate using the word sanding because I think sanding makes it sound intimidating. I really just brush it with a single pass with that sanding sponge. Oh, I got a little chunk in my paint. Okay, so you can see here I'm kind of leaving this edge a little blank, and that's because I'm going to put that palmetto in there.
So another question came up that involves me, so I will talk about it. You know, those get front of the line privilege. As far as the picture with the tractor, did I get photo credit on that?
Oh, I don't think so, because he was at work. That was my stroke of genius. It was my husband being lazy and leaving the tractor out.
Wait, what?
But I was taking advantage of it.
Oh, okay.
You know, I was making the best of my situation. So,
yeah.
No, he left for work and left the tractor out. He should not get photo credit for that. He should get penalized for that.
And then never mind if anybody read the posting, but you messaged me saying, thanks for leaving the tractor out. It works. And then there's a long pause before I see why you are messaging me this.
The photo didn't come across. So you guys, I just added that little stripe of palmetto around the outside. This time I kind of left it bare wood. And then I'm just using my oval medium brush. I'm keeping it clean and dry with the rag. And I'm just going to smooth the transitions between the black and the green. That's all I'm using this brush for. It's a clean, dry brush. Nice soft brush. So what went through your head when I sent you a message and said the tractor works?
I don't know. Since I had one of the hoses disconnected, that maybe you'd try to lift. Yes, I thought you tried to drive it and then it wouldn't lift anything. And then we were joking at work that maybe I have to fix a wall on the house, or maybe I just need to light the house on fire because you just drove the tractor through it.
You don't know me at all. Well, actually, no, that's not true. Because if I didn't like the tractor there, I would have gone out and tried to move it. Okay, so now I've got my palmetto. This one I left the wood there. It really, I don't know, made a little bit of difference, I guess.
All right, here we go. Another hand.
I'm just smoothing out the transitions with this.
I think it has to do with it.
This is that clean, dry brush. It's not perfect, you guys. I'll want to blend this a little bit more. I got a little chunk stuck in my paint. I'm going to grab that out. There we go. And and then I'll smooth out the brush strokes I just messed up. So it's not perfect. I'll want to blend this out a little bit smoother, but I'm going to perfect it on my second coat. But you guys can see what this clean, dry brush does. It really just smooths the transitions between the two colors. And I can do it as much or as little as I want. I can carry the caviar as much into that black. If you guys attended my class at the Dixie Belle conference, I mean, the clean, dry brush is really where the magic happens. It really just kind of erases the transitions between the colors. So now I have a beautiful base of black all over my piece. We're going to set this aside and let it dry, and let's put some paper on the drawer fronts. I'm going to put my paint aside. Okay. So if you follow my page, you know that I like to paper drawers with wallpaper paste. But I wanted to give you guys another option tonight too. So we're actually going to be doing it a little bit differently tonight. I'm going to be using Dixie Belle Gator Hide to paper my drawer fronts. And I like this as an option because then you can use your Gator Hide as your top coat too, versus having to have another supply. Having to buy another supply, that wallpaper paste. Let me put my apron back on because I keep rolling over the strings to it. But you can use Dixie Belle Gator Hide to decoupage. So I'm going to take, this is my bottom drawer.
Hold on.
This is a brand new container, so I'm going to open it up. Okay. And then, let's see, how should I do this? I'm going to take and cut my paper first. So
Apparently people can hear the boys outside.
Yeah, they're outside riding their bikes. My kids are in the driveway.
Just chasing cars on the freeway. No big deal.
I'm going to take my drawers and I'm going to put them in order. So these are labeled on the bottom with top, middle, and bottom. I'm going to put them in order because this is how I cut my paper. And then I'm going to take my roll of paper here, and I'm lucky enough that this is wide enough that it covers my entire drawer. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to very roughly just roll it out across the front. And that will give me a point that I can cut it. So I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and find my drawer edge here, and I'm going to cut it a little bit wide.
Do you need to shake or stir the Gator Hide?
Yes. But I haven't dipped into it yet. I just opened the container. I'm not ready to put it on anything yet, so I haven't stirred it yet.
Deb says, is it weird that I find it comforting to hear your kids playing in the background? I do too. They're still breathing.
You guys, we live out on 5 acres, so my kids can be outside and there's nothing's going to happen to them out there. Okay, how should I do this? I'm going to use the top cover, I guess. I'm going to put these other two aside.
Here, now I'm going to come up so you can see.
I'm probably overthinking this because I'm trying to think what's the easiest way to drawer to do on camera. It's probably not this top drawer. So now I'm going to line my paper up to the top edge of that top drawer. And then I just take a straight razor blade and I will find the edge in, because I want my pattern to line up from my top drawer to my middle drawer. So I'm going to find the break in between these two drawers, which is right about here. And I'm just going to ride my razor blade right along that edge.
Hopefully this is clear for you guys.
Okay, and now I can take this piece and my bottom two drawers and set these aside, and we can just focus on this one drawer now that I've got a piece of paper cut for it. And then I know that when I go to do these bottom two drawers, my paper will line up.
So Kristen wants to know if this is paper or a transfer.
This is paper. Guys, this is just regular gift wrap paper. Nothing special about it. Now I am lining it up. This drawer has a ridge in the middle. I'm not going to paper this. So I need to cut a section for here, and I need to cut a section for here. That's what I'm going to do next. You guys can do this the easiest way for you, whatever works. I'm just showing you how I usually cut my paper. So I'm lining it up to my drawer edge. And then I will take that same razor blade. I'm going to keep my paper nice and straight, and I'm going to just ride this edge of that little carving, that little piece of molding. I'm pressing the razor blade against the edge of that molding, going nice and slow, making sure my paper is not moving. And going to the edge, and I cut it a little long. Okay, so this will be my piece for this top edge, and then I'm going to move this down. And we will cut a piece for this portion right here. So I've got a nice straight edge where I just cut. I'm going to press that up to the molding at the top. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm just going to ride this razor blade on the edge of the bottom. I need to find, there we go. Nope. There we go.
It's almost like you've done this before.
Yeah, sorry, this part's not very interesting to watch, you guys, and I'm trying to pay attention, make sure I don't cut these wrong, so bear with me for a minute. We're just cutting our paper. Okay, now I can pull this part off. I will be painting these parts right here are just going to be solid black. But right now we're just going to attach our paper. So what I like to do is I like to back butter my paper. We'll start with one strip at a time. Let's go ahead and do this top strip first. So I like to back butter my paper. And that is because I want to make sure that I'm getting good, and of course I'm going to stir my gator hide just using a wood stir stick. And I reach down to the bottom and pull up any. You always want to stir your gator hide well. It can separate in the container. And I will pull up any parts that may have settled to the bottom of the container. And roll my paper back out. It just curled up on me. I'm going to set something on the edges so it doesn't keep.
Let's try this.
Okay, so I'm just going to put a really thin coat of gator hide on the back of my paper. Really thin coat, but I want to make sure I'm getting good coverage on it. Move this here. Now that the paper's got that moisture on it, the curl is starting to settle down. I'm going to set the paper aside now that I've back buttered it, and I'm going to come back and put a coat onto my drawer. This is just Dixie Belle Gator Hide, you guys. This is one of their clear coats. Okay, I want to make sure I'm getting my edges nice and covered. Now the gator hide can start to set up and get tacky fairly quickly, so you want to put your paper on pretty quickly. I'm going to take this piece of paper we cut, I'm going to lay it onto my drawer. Okay, I lay it on roughly. Once the paper is wet, you guys, it starts getting, you can tear it pretty easily. So you don't have a ton of play in your paper. Don't try to pull at it. And then if you don't have one of these, you need to get one. This is called a brayer. This is made by Fiskars, which is a scissor brand. It's a craft store item, but it's a firm roller. It's like a little craft rolling pin. So once you've got your paper positioned roughly where you want it, side where I want it. There we go. But you saw I pulled that up a little bit because I needed to reposition it. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to pull it up and reposition this paper a little bit. Trying to get it right up against that little drawer lip. So from here, I will take my brayer and I will flatten this out. And this is going to push out any air bubbles.
And says she'd have it sticking to her head and her legs. Taking the paper off.
Oh yeah, this is, I mean, yeah. This is a small little piece. So can you see the air bubbles? Like I've got an air bubble right here. Big old air bubble in there. I'm going to take my brayer and I'm going to push that out. And I can take it and pull the air out to the top of the paper. I'm just going to keep writing this. I've got another air bubble right there. I'm going to push it out to the top.
So a lot of people are asking, why wouldn't you paint the drawer first?
Yeah, I probably should have. Because I'm doing this on camera, so it's a little different than doing it. Okay, so I like that spot. Now I'm going to come over here and get this paper positioned. I can feel my gator hide's already starting to get a little sticky. I can also trim the paper back a little bit better along this edge once it dries. I feel like my gator hide's a little dry over here, so I'm going to recoat it. I'm going to keep it nice and wet so it's got something to stick to. And I'll reposition my paper. And then I'm just going to roll out those air bubbles with my brayer. The gator hide makes a great tool for decoupage because it will not reactivate when you go to top coat this. I will not get bubbles when I go to add a top coat. Okay. I just rolled a little bit of gator hide onto the top of my paper. I'm also not worried about that because it's going to be my top coat too. So I will go over this a few times, pushing bubbles out of my paper. I can see from this angle, the sheen on my paper will tell me where I've got bubbles. So I'm going to keep going through and rolling these out, and I will attach the second piece. But that's the basic process for putting on decoupage with using Dixie Belle gator hide. So it's nice and flat. I have some gator hide on the front there, which might be what you're seeing, a little bit of sheen. And I will come back and trim this paper with a razor blade once that gator hide is dry. I can just trim the edges with a razor blade, or you can also use a sanding block and just rub it off. Okay, so going a little bit long, so I'm probably going to cut it off, and I will finish papering these drawers. I also have a video on my YouTube channel using the wallpaper paste as well, if you want to see that as an option. But the gator hide works beautifully, so you can kind of see how it will work. I will lay the second piece of paper on and then do the drawers underneath it. And then
what's that little roller again? It's
called a brayer. So this is just a little roller called a brayer. It's from the craft store, Michael's, Hobby Lobby. I have a few different ones.
Stephanie says her back hurts from watching you.
Yeah, my back hurts from doing it. So you guys, I'm getting a little long-winded, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. We will come back and keep working on this piece next week, but I'm going to finish papering these drawers. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and give away some paint. It's nice and smooth. You probably can't see it on camera, but it's nice and smooth on the drawer front.
So Kristana just chimed in.
Oh, hey, welcome.
Did you use your curler? Your curling iron?
I did. Can you tell? Can you tell?
No.
Okay, so let's give away some paint, you guys. If you shared this post, come on and let me know. We're going to give away some paint. Oh, my dresser looks cute. Hi, Tracy. Tracy just won some paint last week. Carolyn, hi. Kristana. Okay, I'm looking. Okay, our winner for tonight, you guys, is Mary Taylor. Mary Taylor, congratulations. You won an 8 ounce of Dixie Belle paint. Message me on my page at Brush by Brandy, and I'll get your information. We'll get that sent out to you. So you guys come back next week. We're going to keep working on this piece. Although it's killing me, I just want to finish it. We will put our second coat on the body, and we're going to stain the top next week. So this one, I'm doing it at about 4 stages. We're in week 2. I imagine we'll finish this in about 4 episodes, getting through every step of this piece. So I hope I'll see you guys next Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Go like my page at Brush by Brandy. Mary Taylor, message me on my page, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night.